I don't know, the arena stuff or whatever. But anyway, I plan on playing Red Deck Wins in that, so I figured I'd get a little practice in here and see if we can 0-3 a league and absolutely shatter my confidence. Same list I've been playing before. The only card that I'm even remotely considering changing is I've considered cutting one Firebrand for one land or like one Skewer for one land. And I've considered adding a third Colossus or Collision Colossus to the sideboard. The problem with the Collision Colossus is if I cut anything, I'd be cutting this dual shot here. And I keep getting paired versus White Weenie decks, and I'm just not willing to take it out until, I go a decent amount of matches without playing versus White Weenie. Which, can't tell you about Moto, Magic Online, but White Weenie and Mono Blue have been my two most popular opponents on Arena. Sultai's in there. I guess all three of them were probably roughly about the same percentage. But anyway, this deck is Bay. I think it's actually pretty good too. As long as you hit lands. Should have been more specific. You don't want to hit 112 of them. I actually think that's good and not good enough because if we were on to draw, it would have been good enough. But being on to play makes it not good enough, I think. I wonder if they're the straight tokens list or if they're the new. So something that's happened since the Pro Tour. The Pro Tour, a lot of these White Weenie decks were all playing the blue splash or just playing straight White Weenie. But something that's happened since the Pro Tour, and because Four of Entrancing Melodies has gotten so popular, a lot of the White Weenie decks now are splashing green just to play Tristani out of the sideboard to counter that. So I'll be curious to find out if this opponent is doing red deck win things, or if they're just strictly I said red deck win things. If their tokens are White Weenie, basically, is what I'm curious about. It's kind of curious. Guess they don't want me to go off here with like a light up the stage or something, but I don't know if I would care about something like that. We have about 1,000,000 damage for the next turn, so it'll be interesting to see what they draw. They shocked. Could just be a Loxodon, but we're not worried about Loxodon. Yeah, so we'll just pass here. And what are we going to do? Am I going to kill the Loxodon? Probably. Could also just attack with the Chain Whirler. Problem is if I just attack with the Chain Whirler, they're very likely to just block. So I have 3, 7, 8 potential mana. I can play all of my spells. I can actually cast this other Runaway Steam Gun. attack with both and offer a trade, I think. Does that work? And then like kill one of these in the process? Which one of these would I kill? Thinking about just leaving the life linker alive and not caring. If they take the trade with the Steamkin, which I'm pretty sure they will, I'll just kill the other one. Which is kind of what I expect. I feel like it's overall worth it. Clears their board, gets them down to 2 cards, leaves us with 7 power in the table. We don't have to worry about too much things other than Tristani. I'm going to play this, even though it kind of like opens up our hand a little bit, but we are an Experimental Frenzy deck. It's going pretty well, George. Just the first match of the day, but as long as we avoid one big Tristani boy, we're in good shape, and we don't even know that they're playing that card yet. I have Hasters in my deck, so I'm going to go ahead and play this. I could also just hit another Goblin Chain Whirler. Alright, well. Oh my! This sucks. They don't have a good block, so we've got that going for us. Just go ahead and do it to them. Ties up their mana pretty well. Just gotta find a Chain Whirler and Experimental Frenzy to basically win. But clearly things are getting close now. Oh, they hit back-to-back marches from from no cards in hand. Well, that's gonna crush us. I'd have probably put all 4 under the Steamkin here, but well, that's disappointing. Like, this game was pretty close to over, but that was kind of 2 perfect hits. Three perfect hits in a row. Can still win this game with a Frenzy. But other than the Frenzy, the game's over now. Wow, I'm literally mind blown how amazing that game ended. We hit 9 lands and 18 cards in our 20 land deck on top of that. Well, it's pretty disappointing. The skewers are very, very bad here. I think dual shots are okay, but not the best. I'm a little slightly sad about how that ended. Probably should have took out Fanatical Firebrands. That was a mulligan by us as well. Oh, no, yeah, it was a mulligan. A mulligan and put on bottom we didn't keep. Alright, well, we're flooding a second game in a row. Don't care a lot about that. I do care that we kept, you know, it's okay. Keeps this back. It doesn't even keep that back then. Just gains 3 life. Well, 7 life, but. The fact that they're attacking me is an extraordinarily bad sign for me. I have so much mana, I'm just going to play this pre-combat for the extra 1 damage. It gets an extra 1 damage and gives us a chance to draw lava runners or whatever. Guess I don't care a lot about this. Just gonna send this. Playing my land pre-combat was wrong here. They now know they can't die. And hopefully they don't have a Tristani. I feel like there's a good chance that they do. Or they might not have a Tristani, but they might have another March. Basically, we still need to hit a Frenzy or a... to have a chance. Basically the same as last game. Frenzy would very likely... probably very likely win still, even though they have all of this. It's just the 7th land. Alright, that's game. Can't come back now. Just too far behind. It's a pretty good match, typically. Technically fall to 1 here. Well, we fall to 1 if we kill this. If I block this, I fall to 5. It gives me a higher chance to get an additional turn, but I don't have a particularly high chance to get an additional turn either way. Still just going to block it. See what happens. Well, that was very disappointing. Game 2 wasn't that disappointing because we had a pretty bad draw, but the way Game 1 played out was very, very annoying. It's going to be one of these days where we just draw nothing but lands at apparently. Can't mulligan this though. Just have to hope not to hit a bunch of lands from here. I think Skewer's the worst card in our deck by a lot. Don't actually think it's particularly close. It's fine. Hey Christian, what's up? I'm just playing this one because in case they get ballsy and play out a Chain Whirler on the following turn, or sorry, a Tempest Gen on the following turn, we can Chain Whirler into Skewer. Like, we're probably not winning this game any other way. That's not good. I'm going to be a mana shy of trying to kill it now. Yeah. So they clearly have a protection spell for this. It's not even remotely considerable that they don't. I'm just not going to attack then. They have a second Tempest Gen, we 100% lose. And they do. Be pretty happy to trade any of these for that. They can't use a lightning strike to save this, or they can't use anything to save this now. Oh wow, that was so bad. Alright. Well, we now have a chance. They actually have to have something now. Don't know how they come to the conclusion to make those particular plays. They threw that game away. Oh. If they planned on dive downing when I attacked, they should have dived down when I cast the first spell. Because with only one spell in their hand, they knew it was protected. Yeah, it might stop me from attacking, but they had no way to combat a second removal spell the way they played. Definitely feel like they were going to win that game had they just not did that. On the draw, I like to take out a couple of experimental frenzies here. I always take out a couple of, where the hell are they? Skewers. Oh god, I'm choking. Hold on a second. But after that, it gets a little more tricky. I typically take out my less consistent burn spells. On the draw, it's usually a Wizard's Lightnings. A lot of people take out these Lava Runners here, But the way I look at this match, if you're not pressuring them, you're not winning. These could be better than these, I'm not sure. I bring the frenzies back in, or I bring one frenzy back in on the play. I go up to 3. I don't really like drawing a bunch of them on the draw. Don't really have removal spells. We're playing a turn slow. I don't think this is a keep. Thinking about keeping it just on the power of the Runaway Steamkin, but yeah, I think this hand's significantly better. Just having an untapped mountain's better because it might bluff them out of playing Curious Obsession. It may not too. Like they could just have the protection spell with it and then not care. I don't care a lot about Surge Mare. It's like obviously not a bad card, but getting a Curious Obsession is a little hard to beat. Certainly not blocking here. You have to spend a lot of your mana to get this loot. And that really helps my following turn. Would they play Scary Terry? Well, we're just going to play this. So this is a play mistake, by the way. I had my glasses off and I didn't see that I had another land in my hand. Now that I see another land in my hand, it's obvious I should have played Chain Whirler. So, like, you have to forgive this horrible mistake. That mistake was really, really, really bad. But I had my glasses off cleaning them. I just thought that was a second lightning strike in my hand. Oof. Oof, I say. Okay. Well, boom. Is it a dive down? It is in fact a dive down. I play this anyway and just pass. It had such a better play here if I just had this in play last turn. My turn would have been so much better. Let's see what they have. I don't like how I played that out there. I think my entire sequencing has been off this game since the chain roller mistake. Oh, I misclicked too. I didn't use the right spell. Oh god, alright. Well, I'm going to lose this game because I've made a comedy of errors. How bad can one person play? Who knows? I'm not sure I necessarily even care about that. I'm dead anyway. Yeah, I've played this game horribly ever since the turn that I accidentally didn't play the right card. I don't even want to say accidentally. I just messed up. Already played our land for the turn, so there's nothing I can even draw here to get back in it. I'll just go ahead and concede. Had I not played my land... Yeah. Oh, wow, I played so bad. Might be the worst game I've ever played on stream. Might actually be the worst game I've ever played. This hand's terrible as well. Getting rewarded for my bad play. That's land 5. Hey, no, what's up? I'm never trying to kill that here. I might as well play this to try to get the extra point of damage. That was pretty good for me. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Is it worth putting them at 2 in this spot? Or is just letting them be at 3 fine? Just letting them be at 3 is probably fine. I want this extra 1 damage here. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. They don't have a good block. So they probably block this and take 1. I'm fine with that. Fine with that. Doesn't feel like they're getting anywhere doing those things. Pteramander still needs 1 more turn to get slow. As long as the Pteramander's not slow, I'm not sure I care about anything they can do. Though, like, pretty clearly, I'm not going to win drawing every land in our deck. Which is what we're currently doing. Could have double dive down here. Not really getting anywhere. Just getting closer and closer to dead. Could have played my land. They're kind of drawing a little bad this game. I won't deny that. That was a good draw. See if they have yet another dive down. It's fine. They don't have to just throw this lightning strike out there. They have to keep answering the board. Alright, well, we should have 3-0'd that game, but rip. Oh, that was really bad play by me. Sure glad that that was not on the ladder. It definitely is among the worst I've ever played in a match on stream, I think. We've won 3 dice rolls in a row, though. But what are these hands? Alright, I keep it. It's not really playable, but I'm not going to go to 5. This is a 20 land deck. Maybe putting different art lands in your deck confuses the program. No, this match is over. It's not a particularly good match, and we don't have close to the right type of hand to even try to beat it. Doesn't matter whether they're playing anything at this point. Getting an unanswered frenzy is really the only way to win from here. With that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and Shockville him. Don't care if they have Kaya's Wrath. Again, only care about if they answer Frenzy and if we draw Frenzy. That can answer Frenzy, so we're done. So this is the one match that I absolutely hate. Bring in these. Bring in these. Get rid of these. And get rid of these and this. And the run it back. We have no 1-drop. Have to mulligan. Is that what you plan on playing, or what you think you're going to get paired versus? Would love to keep that, but can't keep it considering, you know, we can't cast any of our spells to begin with. I'm going to go ahead and slam this, but only because we have to light up the stage in our hand. Alright, well, we drew this, so we're going to play this now. Esper Control's a good deck. I'm a pretty big fan of it. Alright. Well, 5U. Hopefully. You know what they say about hope, right? Just play this. Either way, I can do this. Pretty bad light up to stages on top of everything else. They played this land on turn 1 though, so they could be low on lands and the Dire Fleets could be pretty good here. Maybe they don't have the Cow's Wrath, who knows. They put on top. Seems like this is dead, but can't not play it in this spot. Alright, well, we need some pretty specific things now. Feels like it's just going to be a black mana. Ooh, it's a shock. If it's a shock, that means a Lava Runner can win the game. It's not a Lava Runner, but it is a cool card here. Let's see what they're working with. Don't care about Teferis in this port spot, I don't think. It takes almost all of their mana. So I'm just going to take this. They also have 2 Teferis, so. Bored to death. That doesn't make a deck bad. Let me ignore this Teferi. This could get absorbed. Not super concerned if it does. Potentially should have threw out a Wizard's Lightning there since they didn't have the counter spell. Sure it can. Can win with Kaya or Thief of Sanity. Like, you're always going to be sideboarding in some kind of alternate win condition. They left a card on top, by the way. And that is absolutely devastating. Well, this is kind of interesting. I think I'm going to pass here. If they have a Mortify, they probably still win. But we've already got rid of one of their Mortifies. Did we mulligan that game? I think we mulligan that game, didn't we? Yeah. Alright, game 3. Don't really change anything. This hand's really bad again, but I do think it's just better than a mulligan. Generally need 1-drops to win a match like this. And 3+ lands. I just don't think Skewer's very good, personally. I don't even want Skewer in the deck. Like, Wizard Lightning being an instant seems a lot better to me than a Skewer in this particular match. Like that last game, for example, we lose if that's Skewer, right? Like, we lose pretty hard if that's Skewer, that game. But being able to respond with the Wizard's Lightning let us win. Just because of it being an instant. Playing on their turn matters. I don't know why they're taking so long here. I'm going to go ahead and play this. Don't much care if they Chaos Wrath it. Would prefer them not to absorb it. Would much rather them Chaos Wrath it. Land's the exact card I wanted to draw here. Hopefully they don't have another. And they don't. So what do they have? They have a Teferi. Teferi's beatable. They have a Lyra. Lyra's beatable. So, what would I rather do? That is the question. I think I'd rather just kill the Lyra. Oh, well, that's certainly on top. It's fine. Because we know that we're going to try to cast this Frenzy next turn, just go ahead and get this Cry out of their graveyard. What land did they play? I wasn't paying attention. They played the Fortress. So, I have one unknown that we don't know about. They keep pausing. Their pausing is making me think about Mortify. So now they have to answer the board and a Frenzy? They shocked. What did they shock for? have a negate with it? Why did they shock? Oh, they had to have another. They had to have another black. I get the shock now. Um, guess I'm just gonna cast this. If they put a damage on the stack, then we'll Cinder Vines. And if they have a Mortify for the Cinder Vines, we get to resolve the other, light up the stage. Cinder Vines are sweet. I feel like opponent had some pretty poor draws there. They had both of those games, in my opinion, were a prime example of why Esper isn't a tier 1 deck or isn't the best deck in the format. It was just he struggled to get 2 black mana both of those games. Voila. I mean, the deck does that way too often. Just way too often, right? Like the turn he played the Search, in my mind, like I didn't understand why he played the Vraska's Contempt, but I just wasn't paying attention to his lands. And that's on me. He didn't have 2 black. Then he had to shock to play the top decked Kai's Wrath. The mana, I mean, obviously that was kind of a long game, and he was a favorite to have the black mana in that situation, but you often don't have the black mana on turn 3 or turn 4. Alright, anyway, we got to win 1 out of the next 2 to get our pity chest. We get to play all 5 matches no matter what, which is sweet. Some internet issue or health emergency would probably be what stops us from doing that. Sounds good. Ish. I mean, we're kind of short on lands. We have no creatures, but you never mulligan a hand like this, even though you want to. It's not the type of hand that beats the majority of like Sultai and or black green matches. Anyway. Yep. Maybe you'll miss and we'll get the 0-3 for one. I'd rather you actually hit, but and they had to land anyway. Alright, I kill you. Hey, look it up. What's up? Pew pew. And still relatively weak here. But they don't have lands. Since we have Double Frenzy in our hand, we're going to start aggressively using these burn spells. Like if they have a cast down here, I will shock and use a Light Up the Flame. If I didn't have the Frenzies, I don't make that type of play. Oh, wow. So we're going to get stuck with a rando card in our hand. I guess since we're getting stuck with a rando card in our hand, I'm just going to pass. Would I rather have 2 threats or 1? I think I'd rather have 2. This is worth more damage if they have a removal spell. Mono blue match is pretty hard still for that. Kind of sucks that our light up the flame was this bad, but it is whatever it is. Really glad they left us with this card out of what we had. Don't exactly know what our opponent's doing right now. They have to have something they can play. They could be just trying to get me. Like maybe they have a Wild Growth Walker and a Jade Light in hand and are just trying to be greedy. But because of the frenzies, again, is why I'm making these plays. If it's just Vivian, we probably can't win. Especially when we've still, not found a 4th land. It's pretty depressing to lose this game. Don't really understand that. Just casting this, yes, they have an answer to it in play, but I'd rather them use that than look for an Explorer. Like, this game's not really winnable anymore. So at this point, we're trying to just get lucky. Similarly, I'm doing the same thing here. And I'm expecting this to die as one reason I'm playing a land. They had it with the tick down. I mean, they drew a few cards with the Crisis or whatever, but that's okay. So you come in. You come in. You go out. And you go out. Oops, I drug one too many. We just run it back. Skewer's probably better than Shock. They're both really bad, but Skewer is probably better than Shock. Yes, I'll keep it. Only because of the scry. It's like pretty clearly bad. We don't really have a way to kill a Wild Growth Walker. We can't cast our spells. This is about the worst hand possible. guess I play this. I guess our hand's that bad. Gives us an opportunity to potentially attack next turn. Just now noticing that our opponent kept on one land hand versus us last game. And Savage. Well, need a land this turn. It is in fact a land this turn, so at least we have that going for us. Oh, they took both? I'm taking both as unexpected. Because we can expect this to get cast down, so like why are they just setting back on this? They're attacking? I apparently don't understand my role this game. Or one of us doesn't. I don't know if it's me or them, but one of us clearly doesn't understand our role. Just go to 11? Do I care? I guess I don't care. Nothing I can do about it if I did care, so might as well not care, right? I don't know. Gives me another light up to stage. Could have played it pre-combat, but we don't have lava runners anymore. Should have threw that little skewer out. That was a mistake. Definitely should have skewered here. Don't think it'll matter. But it was a mistake nonetheless. It turned out being good for us. But it was certainly a mistake. Whee! I play so bad. You're all witness to the terrible. I had to peep on who was watching me get wrecked. Alright, game 3 versus a match that I don't hate. We've had some pretty bad draws, but I played pretty bad. They're on the play. Can we get that pity chest? This hand's great. It's everything I want, except lands in a frenzy. Which is what I will be referred to now as future problem. Could care less about a duress. I actually do not think you should bring in Duress versus my deck. I don't think any of my spells matter with the exception of Frenzy. And it's so late in the game that I think your Vivians or Verascas or whatever deal with it. Like, what does them getting a Lava Coil here do? Like, I'm just so likely to have another Lava Coil or to have a Lightning Strike or a Wizard's Lightning that it just does nothing. You could argue that it gets the last spell out of my hand sometimes, but the same argument can be made. You just play a threat and it does the same thing. Don't care about that. Willing to trade damage. The fact that they got rid of a hostage taker kind of indicates to me that they're light on lands as well. This deck taps out almost every turn. Kind of sad that they hit the land. That was a pretty good draw. All good things going on over here right now. Looks like they're struggling on lands. It's kind of weird that they didn't attack this time because they know this is going to be a 4-4 now. Guess it does keep me from doing wild things with the Runaway Steamkin, but there's a good chance that they're going to have a removal spell for it anyway. Yeah, well, they did not really play Magic Game 3. We'll call it like I see it. Ran pretty hot there. They shouldn't have played Magic Game 1. They kept a damn one-land hand in the dark on the draw. I think they were on the draw. If they weren't on the draw, I apologize, but I think they were on the draw. I don't know. I guess maybe there's enough mono blue decks out there that you can keep a one-land elf hand on the draw. I don't know. Seemed ambitious, though. But they hit, so it didn't matter. They beat the crap out of us that game, too. I have about 190 people on my Facebook friends list, yet it says 67 of them are online right now. Wild. Well, thanks eBay for my important seller update. Appreciate it. Wow, they paid full price for that too. Go me. We'll go first. We won 4 dice rolls. Yeah, we'll keep it. Gonna keep that too, cause I'm wild. I'm actually gonna play this because there's some decks that the Lava Runner can't attack versus next turn, or can't deal damage versus, like say they're playing White Weenie or whatever, and I desperately need that light up the stage. Lands or we lose. This could be a situation of lands and we lose. Ooh, that's a good one, but it's not a good one in this situation. Attack for one, because where I'm behind, I would be pretty happy trading this for this at this moment. Don't really want to shock myself here, of course, but they have another Steamkin. Assume they'll kill my Steamkin or play a Frenzy. Frenzies typically win this match. I think they're one of the only cards in the match that matter. But we could get lucky and they could brick. That's also why I'm going to continue to play my lands, though. We do have a nice lead here. As long as they don't hit double spell, we should be good. That's one spell. It was an expensive spell, though. Makes it real hard for them to have a second one, unless they hit exactly land. Alright, we jumped out to a really good lead now. We might actually beat the Frenzy draw. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're going to beat the Frenzy draw. This is nice. Sometimes Frenzies bite you in the butt when you cast them before you have enough lands. Alright, anyway, I like my Dire Fleets here. So cards that I kind of don't like. Kind of don't like my Skewers, I kind of don't like my Runaway Steamkins. Not sure which I don't like more, though, is the problem. Like, Steamkins typically just trade for something, but the Skewers are really hard to activate randomly. You're typically always paying 3 mana for like a 3 mana sorcery spell in the match. Not interested in Lava Coils or anything. If we know that they're playing Rekindling Phoenix, I'll bring in Lava Coils, but the majority of these decks don't. So it really depends on what I see. I've toyed with drawing in this match, but I think casting the first Frenzy matters so much that I'm not going to. But it's something I've considered. I've also considered Cindervines, just so they take a point of damage every time they throw a burn spell at you, but like, Cindervines is one of those cards that's going to be pretty decent if you're ahead, but like really bad if you're behind, and if the game's even, you're playing a Cindervines while they could be playing like a Chain Whirler or a Frenzy or like a 3 mana spell or something, because you wouldn't be casting it until the mid game anyway. You're not just going to slam it on 2, you're generally always going to be answering their Lava Runner or Steamkin or Pyromancer or whatever they play. But if it took red to play, I would almost definitely give it a try, but the fact that it takes green's one of the things that turns me off of it. And again, I'm just going to play this and attack. I like getting that guaranteed point of damage in. That's kind of interesting. Alright, we'll start by attacking for 1. If I don't play the land first, they might have light up the stage under mine and they could kill it. I think it's just easier to play this here. They're almost definitely going to use a removal spell here, so I don't think I need to hold up Wizard's Lightning. I think they're just going to kill this and then untap and like Chain Whirl or this away. And if that's the play pattern that I think is going to be most common from them here, I would rather just have Pyromancer for the following turn to like Pyromancer, Wizard's Lightning, whatever they have. It looks like they don't have the land, maybe? Yeah, they didn't have the land, so they couldn't do that. Well, that's interesting then. Kinda don't want to use any of my spells here. I don't want to get 2 for 1. I definitely want to kill this. I don't know if I want to waste a Wizard's Lightning on just a Steamkin. I don't know if I want to waste this Fanatical Firebrand on a Steamkin. This is a complicated turn, I think. Could just play the Pyromancer and use the Pyromancer to cast the light up the stage and use the Fanatical Firebrand to kill the Steamkin, since I think it's pretty likely that they have a Chain Whirler anyway. I think that's what I'm actually going to end up doing, is save my Wizard's Lightning. The biggest problem with this is there's a good chance that I get stranded with 1 spell here. I'm not going to in this case because we hit a land. But if we'd hit 2 spells, it would have been very uncommon for us to be able to play them both. Okay. They're not playing lands. That's one of the other ways to run away with this match. If they can't cast spells, you can often win. They've hit the 3rd land now, so they have a lot of spells in their hands. Good chance they could come back. Well, not a good chance. There's a chance they could come back. We're a pretty stone favorite with them at 6, though. I'll just play this here. Okay, they're done. Alright, well, we lost round 1 to green-white tokens, which I think is a pretty favorable match, but we got in a play pattern where we didn't see a Frenzy either game. We didn't draw a second Chain Whirler in the first game, even though the game went long enough for them to get a cast March, or top deck March, play March. So they could have had the first March. But then from 0 cards, top deck second March in top deck the Tristani for 3 turns in a row. Feel like we would have won that game if we'd drawn a Chain Whirler or a Frenzy, but second game we got clobbered. But yeah, so this is the Andrew Cunio's where I found this list. It's been working for me on the ladder. We're still top 50 last I looked. I mean, don't quote me. I might have decayed off of it. I played 0 games today. I think I 4-1'd with it both times I've streamed it on Moto. I actually think it's pretty good. Obviously 20 lands gives it an amount of variance that I don't know if I would be super comfortable with at like an RPTQ setting where you can only have 1 loss. but at any event, like an SCG event, where you can get like 4 losses in top 16 or like 3 losses in top 8, I'd feel pretty comfortable with this deck. Feel pretty comfortable with it in the ladder because I feel like even if I lose a match here and there, which you're going to lose a match here and there with everything, it's a relatively fast deck. I like its mono blue match. I like its mono white match. I like its. I don't hate its Sultai match, which is the thing that keeps most people away from it. I like its Nexus matches. Its Esper match is the one that I truly hate, but the Cinder Vines gives you a little bit of play there, not a lot. I mean, you saw how lucky we had to get to beat it earlier, but when you play cards like Experimental Frenzy and Cinder Vines and light up the stage, you give your deck a chance to get lucky in those spots. But no, I feel pretty comfortable with it. I still enjoy it. Like, I played horrendously today, and we still got a 4-1. Like, if I was going to rate my play today on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being terrible, I'd honestly give it like a 3.5. I think I played very, very poorly. I think I made the worst punt that I've made on stream today. But the deck's just powerful. I don't know why people hate it so much. I think the majority of people hate it because they believe the Sultai match is a hands-down massive favorite, and I think the match is just a lot closer than a lot of people realize. And I think you're fine versus Drakes as well. Phoenix is a little bit more difficult, but like Drakes isn't a particularly hard match, so it's been a while since I've saw a Drake's deck. I've only been seeing Phoenixes lately. And I think you actually have sideboard slots to toy with too. Like, I don't think these dual shots have to be in the deck. Like I was saying, I'm just playing the dual shots because White Weenie seems to be so popular on the ladder right now. And like the skewers and the Fanatical Firebrands might not be correct in the main deck either. I toyed a lot with red at the beginning of the season, with black splashes, with green splashes, with this, that, and the other. And almost all of the lists I tried, like I was trying to slam four skewers in. Some of the lists, like I was trying Flame of the Keld. Some of the lists I was playing Theater of Horrors over Experimental Frenzy. And I just think all of those lists were wrong. And when I went back to 4 Frenzies, things just really exploded in terms of win-losses for me. The card's just so powerful. Obviously, there was like a variance level to it, but the rest of the deck's so strong that like you can often win a game even if you brick on like 1 or 2 turns of a Frenzy. If you brick 3 or 4 turns in a row, you're going to lose, but then again, you got to think about those scenarios. Those are scenarios where you're drawing 3 or 4 lands in a row anyway, and you just be losing those games most of the time. But anyway, I'm done rambling. Don't have really enough viewers to host anybody, but if I was going to host somebody, I'd probably host Snapgaze. I'm going to go watch him play some Simic Nexus if he's still online. And take care, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. And thanks for listening to me ramble if you're still here, even though I see over half my viewers has left since the league ended. Take care, everyone.